What's going on, guys? I know it's been a little bit of time since I've posted my last video, and I want to excuse that because I have been very focused on scaling and growing my business this Q4 and building our pipeline and funnel for the amount of companies that I'm going to be working with in exclusive agreements. So that has been the primary focus of mine over the past 6 months or so, and we're building a pipeline of suppliers that we can work with exclusively to represent their products on Amazon. So that has been where the primary amount of my attention has gone. That being said, I wanted to reignite some videos on the channel, and I want to take a little bit of a different approach. This video is going to be super unedited or very minimal editing. I'll have my video editor do, and I just want to be real with you guys and tell you what it's like to sell on Amazon, what it's like having run my Amazon business for close to 5 years now. The successes, the failures, the stuff that nobody talks about. So the title of this video is going to be something along the lines of time to get serious about selling on Amazon. And the reason why I want to make this video is because one, I've been thinking a lot about the content that I've provided over the past several years, and a lot of it I'm in reflecting on valuable information. It has been combed over with a fine-tooth comb in order to deliver you guys the most effective information in the quickest amount of time. Today, I just want to have a conversation with you and share with you what selling on Amazon is really like, and how you, as a beginner seller, or if you're sitting there on the other end of the screen thinking about starting an Amazon business and you don't know or understand anything about it or are skeptical if this is a viable business model, this video is for you. So I want to break this video down just basically into two parts. One, I want to go through my journey of what it has taken to get to running a 7-figure Amazon business, challenges, the sacrifices, successes, failures. And I also want to go into what it actually takes and what you should expect when starting your Amazon business and then trying to scale it. So let's start with the journey that I took. So what motivated me to start my Amazon business was essentially fear. It was fear of working a job that I hated, living just a regular life where I would go into work, get there at 8 o'clock, leave at 5, and come home and just not having a whole lot of fulfillment in my day-to-day. The reality is that we spend most of our time working in society today, and I knew that I wanted to go into a line of work that I was able to make money in, support myself, but also at the same time have some element of fulfillment to that work. And when I was navigating this, it was during college, and I was not thinking about starting an Amazon business. That's not the first thing that popped into my head. For the longest time, I thought I wanted to be a personal trainer, and I thought that that was going to be what was going to set me up for that personal fulfillment path. I steered away from that, and I started researching more about e-commerce and how to start a business online. And just like any of you, if you're searching YouTube and Instagram, for these different keywords like selling on Amazon or selling online, drop shipping, you're going to get inundated with all kinds of information. A lot of it bad, some of it good, many people trying to sell you something. And I was about a junior in college at this time, and I was navigating what a viable business model would be to not have to work a regular job. I tried it. I was working an internship and I hated it. I absolutely felt like, I was just doing meaningless work, staring at a clock half the day, and it didn't give me any element of personal fulfillment. So, I remember as a junior in college, I went home on that winter break and I said to myself, I am going to figure this out and do whatever it takes to start a business. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur in my life. I just never knew how. So something led me down the path of just going and searching YouTube for selling online. And I started, looking into drop shipping and eBay and all these different kinds of business models where you could sell products online. And then I finally stumbled on Amazon FBA. and there were some certain gurus, I'm not going to say names, that were flooding the search results. But it gave me a really good picture of high level what Amazon FBA is and the reality of it, because a lot of the search out there, or the videos that were coming up in my search result, were Lamborghinis, were big houses, were not warehouses, products showing you, what they're doing in their business on a day-to-day basis. And because of that, I was able to sort of, set my expectations ahead of time and say, am I really going to get a Lamborghini by doing this? So all that being said, the reason why I'm sharing all that with you, and I want to explain to you that Amazon FBA is a viable business model. People are doing it, people are supporting their families on it, and they're making a lot of money doing it, but they're not doing it in the way that you think. So I started down this path of Amazon FBA, and I actually started in private label. What we did was I was doing tons of product research, using all the softwares, the Helium 10s, the Jungle Scouts, just, trying to learn the space. And I would say the first year of selling on Amazon was, the bulk of it was just learning. I mean, it was not focused on, growing or making money. It was just learning the business and learning the trade. So I started in private label. We got a sample made, and it never went through with that sample, partly because private label required a lot of money to advertise your products in order to gain more market share and take away market share from competition. So I steered more into the retail arbitrage business model. And retail arbitrage was a great business model for learning again. And I want to emphasize this in that when I was starting and selling on Amazon, and when I was getting into retail arbitrage, never did it cross my mind that money is going to be the focus. I know that sounds crazy, but the entire time, it was just a process that I needed to prove to myself worked, and then the money would come down the road. So in the beginning, when I was doing retail arbitrage, there was no salary being drawn from my business. I wasn't paying myself. I was working tons of hours. I was going into stores, scanning products, coming home, repackaging those products, shipping them into Amazon. And what we were doing was just, learning the business, learning the process of shipping products into Amazon. Shipped all of it out, it would be time to go back to the store and get more products. So it was very much so a cycle of constantly hunting for these products from these retail stores. I was going to Marshall's, TJ Maxx, Home Goods, Walmart, Target, Home Depot. I mean, there were tons of stores that I was going to, and I was just scanning product for hours on end just to find a little sliver of profit in these items to ship into Amazon, to prove to myself that this business model actually could work. Setting expectations ahead of time for yourself, in that it's not just an easy business where you can start making money right away. Even in retail arbitrage, at the end of the day, when you factor in your time and all, the costs of doing business, you're left with a pretty slim profit margin when you're not doing it at scale. And I emphasize that, not at scale, because in the beginning, you're investing money, you're purchasing inventory, and it's very hard to find these products in the stores. And it's gotten harder and harder over the years. Maybe 10 years ago, you could go into these stores, scan the products, and find crazy profitable items on Amazon. But because of just so much competition and, just less supply chain issues over the years, which COVID had a major impact in that, the margin on a lot of these items in terms of the gap from where you can purchase the product in the store and then sell it for on Amazon has shrunk quite a bit. Don't get me wrong, there is still plenty of opportunity in retail arbitrage and online arbitrage, and there are a lot of people doing it, making a lot of money. But this has been my experience over the years. And when I first started, probably 4 years ago, I was going into stores. I was literally going into Marshall's. Marshall's was my main store. I was scanning products, shoes, toys, I was going down each aisle of Marshall's, searching in different categories in order to just purchase inventory. And it was almost like a treasure hunt for me. Again, it was never this thing that was, oh, I'm gonna, make millions scanning products in these stores. At the end of the day, I knew that wasn't so much a sustainable business model as it was a proof of concept. So we built this model up. It was myself, 2 other team members, small team, built this business model up, and that was my proof of concept. We probably built it to about 6 figures sales a year, maybe 100 to 200,000 in a year. I remember specifically, this was before COVID. We were doing about 100 to 200,000, I would say, in the year, and I knew I needed to make a switch. And it was at that time, at the end of the year, where I was like, I need to transition into something that's more sustainable, less time intensive, and something that I could actually support myself on, build a business while at the same time, also live, right? It's that survival stage, right? You're still in the 3 stages that I find when you're an entrepreneur. There's survival, there's growth, and there's legacy. I was still in this survival stage, just trying to prove to myself and the people around me that this was actually viable, because people are going to look at you like you're crazy. And that's just the fact of the matter, is that something you have to have blinders on when you're starting a business like this. Because I was scanning bras in Kohl's and walking out of the store with a cart full of bras. Like, this business is not what people make it out to be, for better or for worse. It's a grind, just like any other business, and it's not as sexy and glamorous as the gurus make it out to be. And I just want to make sure that anybody watching this video goes into this with realistic expectations and goals that are obtainable. So when I first started, again, we were doing 6 figures or so. We were probably doing a little bit more than 200,000 now that I think about it. At that point, just purely off RA, maybe 1 wholesale account that I got, but it was purely RA. And I knew going into the next year, I believe this was going into 2020, so right before COVID, right when COVID was about to happen, I knew that I needed to make a change, and that change was going to be into wholesale. So that meant I had to drop retail arbitrage to a certain extent. There was a period of time where I was doing hybrid. So in the beginning, I was doing retail arbitrage and wholesale, I would call these companies during the day, throughout the day, and then, maybe I would go doing retail arbitrage at night or on the weekends. So I was working easily 80 hours to 100 hours a week, if not more in some cases. And a lot of those hours, I really wasn't I wasn't paying myself. There wasn't really enough margin left. So I was working for free, right? And that's what you have to expect as a business owner in the very beginning stages, right? Eat dirt for a number of years to get the reward in the end. As I was doing this hybrid model, it was after that I realized, okay, in order to really scale this model, I need to jump into wholesale full time. And that means I need to contact 100 plus companies per week. It was at the beginning of the year, January 1st, I set a goal. I said to myself, I am going to contact 100 to 150 companies per week. This is a combination of cold calls, emails, mostly calls, and I'm going to do this from January 1 to March 31st, so Q1. I have not built something in that 3-month time window. I'm going to reevaluate the business, because it was at that time that we had to transition out of retail arbitrage and into a new business model. So you're basically starting from scratch. I now don't have the time to replenish the items that I was buying at the stores, because again, retail arbitrage, 1-to-1 ratio for the amount of work to time. Wholesale, private label, you put in the work up front, you get the reward later on. With that being said, the retail arbitrage had to drop off, so my business was going like this, and then it went down and sunk down when I did wholesale. But again, I had to do that in order to focus on a new business model. So at that point, I was calling these companies, and I would say it probably took about 2 months for me to start realizing the gains from wholesale. So they started coming in, and as I was calling more and more companies, I was slowly getting better at it. Where I was on the phone then 2-3 years ago is nowhere near where I am today. That is one of the biggest things in this, guys, in this business, is that the amount of skill that you can equip yourself with by doing wholesale. And if you're doing brand direct wholesale, contacting these brands and cold calling, you are going to become an excellent salesperson. And that's just the reality. I am not a natural born salesperson, but this business has made me a very good salesperson. I know what these companies want, I understand it, and I'm able to position the argument out in a way that shifts them to work with me. And the only reason I'm able to do that is because of the years of experience that I have and rejection that I have faced, mistakes, successes, and so on. So, and that being said, I started seeing these results from wholesale coming in, and it was slowly, each reward would give you a little bit of fuel to keep going. If it wasn't for the, you get an account here, you get a price list here, this is profitable. If it wasn't for those little nuggets that you start getting along the way, those little rewards, it's very easy to get discouraged. And that's another thing, which is going to be a whole nother video on how to, really set those expectations. The more I think about it, this video is going to be more focused on my journey and the process that it took to get to where I am today. So maybe I'll make another video or a series on, beginner experiences, but another video will be on, the expectations. But with this, I was able to get these small rewards, which was giving me continuous fuel to keep going. And wholesale is very much so a snowball effect business model. The more you get, the more you accumulate, that snowball starts picking up speed. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's ultimately how I did it in the beginning. I would say the main takeaways from, if you are a beginning Amazon seller, just starting out from scratch, is have realistic expectations. And that means don't believe everything you see on the internet. Do not believe that this is an easy business and it's going to be built successfully overnight. It takes years to build a successful Amazon business or Amazon wholesale business. Another important point is don't focus on the money in the beginning, especially. And to be honest with you, I would say don't focus on the money at all. Obviously, you have to be focused on the financial element of this business. But when I say money, don't focus so much so on money being the driving fuel of your business. Rather, focus on delivering the value. Focus on building the company and assuming that all your purchasing decisions are correct, in that you've used all the tools that I've shared with you, sourcing the right companies, contacting those companies, analyzing price lists, using software and data to do that, assuming all of the fundamentals are in check and you have your systems in place. The money and the profits will be derived from the work you put in and the value that you provide. So I hope this video was able to shed some light on my journey and possibly help you if you're just starting out on Amazon. The biggest thing is focus on growing the business, focus on delivering value, and then allow that value to fuel profits and growth of your company. Have realistic expectations in the beginning and be prepared to delay gratification for several years. And if you have all those things in place, you're going to have the right tools in conjunction with the work you put in and the knowledge that you have of the fundamentals of selling on Amazon. You're going to have all the tools at your disposal to become a successful Amazon seller. I am not a genius and I am not someone who is, an anomaly. I am a product of the work that I have put in over the years. I hope this video helped you guys. If you liked it, hit the like button, share it with a friend. And if you guys want to see more content like this, real, raw, unedited, my journey, shoot a comment down below and let me know. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell as well to stay up to date on all future content that I put out. And if you guys haven't seen the other videos on my channel, make sure to scroll through the channel and check those videos out. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we will see you next time.